In the abyssal heart of the obsidian Citadel, a fortress not built but grown from ancient malice, a conclave of the most formidable harbingers of dread had gathered. Dreadfang, the architect of waking nightmares; Stoneheart, the silent, inexorable force; the Faceless, embodiment of pure, unadulterated malevolence; and Whisperwind, the ancient, cosmic entity of primordial terror. They had never known common cause, each a monarch in their own dominion of fear, but an existential cataclysm had breached their very realities, a threat so immense, so absolute, that none could hope to stand against it alone. The very cosmos was fraying. Forces utterly alien and incomprehensible had torn gaping wounds in the fabric of existence, birthing monstrous, shimmering rifts between dimensions. From these gaping maws poured abominations, grotesque, chitinous legions, spectral echoes of the damned, and eldritch horrors that defied all natural law. They swarmed, overwhelming mortal realms and even the chilling essence of fear itself. These titans of terror, once the undisputed sovereigns of dread, found their meticulously crafted realms of horror crumbling before this unprecedented, all-consuming tide. Their whispers of fear became unheard screams in the cosmic maelstrom. Dreadfang, his voice a low, grating rasp that seemed to claw at the air, was the first to break the ominous silence. This is no longer about the slumbering minds of mortals. This is real. This is annihilation. We must stop it. Stoneheart's colossal obsidian axe caught the candlelight, its gleam a silent, grim affirmation. He shifted, a tremor running through the ancient stones, signaling his readiness. The Faceless merely stood, its empty gaze fixed on the others, betraying nothing, yet its presence was a suffocating declaration of malevolent intent, a promise of absolute suffering. Whisperwind unfurled a tendril of smoky shadow, its form coalescing into a grotesque, mocking smile. Its eyes, twin points of ancient, swirling chaos, gleamed with a dark, primal joy. "A new kind of terror, you say? Delicious," it hissed, a phantom shriek following its words. It manifested a single, sickly green orb of light from the air, pulsating with nascent dread. "Let us ensure their final moments are memorable." And so, an unholy alliance was forged, born not of camaraderie, but of a shared, terrifying necessity. The twisted architects of cosmic horror united against an existential threat that promised not just destruction, but utter non-existence. The unraveling of all realities was upon them, but before the final, desperate gasp, they would ensure that horror itself would cling to life and reign supreme. Their first foray into the ravaged world was a plunge into cosmic pandemonium. The landscape, once vibrant, was twisted into a grotesque tableau of ruin, painted in shades of sickly green and necrotic purple. Distant screams and roars echoed, not just from the mortals, but from the very essence of dying worlds. They moved through the skeletal remains of what was once a bustling metropolis, each step a testament to the invaders' destructive appetite. Dreadfang wove illusions so potent they caused smaller, amorphous horrors to tear themselves apart, their grotesque forms dissolving into psychic dust. Stoneheart moved with the force of a tectonic plate, his obsidian axe carving brutal swaths through shambling, multi-limbed creatures. The Faceless, with unnerving stillness, would simply be near a foe, and the creature would contort, shrivel, and collapse into a heap of desiccated tissue, consumed by an unseen, internal terror. Whisperwind, ever gleeful, lured swaths of chittering, insectoid abominations with false promises of untold fears, then erupted into a maelstrom of shadow and sound, their panicked shrieks a symphony of exquisite dread before they were consumed. They paused on a crumbling overpass, gazing out at the desolate panorama. The air vibrated with a palpable sense of alien wrongness. "These entities," Dreadfang rasped, his voice barely above a whisper. "They feed on more than just life. They consume the very concept of being. There is no dreams within their hollow existence, no souls to savor, just raw, unthinking hunger. Whisperwind's form shimmered, its mocking smile widening. Oh, but they can feel the gnawing ache of the unknown, the primal sting of vulnerability, a different flavor of dread, perhaps, but fear nonetheless. And that, my dear dream weaver, is a dialect we all speak fluently. Stoneheart, his massive form, immovable, merely grunted, tapping his axe against the cracked concrete. The sound resonated with grim finality. The Faceless turned its featureless gaze towards the farthest horizon. Then a low, guttural murmur, a sound like grinding stone, escaped its form. Origin, find, even the Faceless, the ultimate embodiment of malevolence, understood the fundamental principle. Symptoms must lead to the source. They knew, with a horrifying certainty, that these invaders were merely the countless tendrils of a far greater, unseen malignancy. As their relentless pursuit carried them deeper into the ravaged heartlands, the true, horrifying scale of the incursion unfurled before them. This was no mere invasion. This was a cosmic purging, a systematic consumption of all existence. The very light of the distant, dying sun seemed to dim, swallowed by an encroaching, suffocating void. The air grew thick with a sense of immense, suffocating dread, a chilling sensation that gnawed even at their ancient, calcified hearts. From a newly torn rift, a gargantuan, amorphous horror, teeming with countless writhing tentacles and glowing, malevolent eyes, oozed forth. Its sheer mass dwarfed the tallest, crumbling skyscrapers. This was no lesser minion. This was a null, behemoth, a living engine of cosmic hunger. They were forced to combine their terrifying strengths. Dreadfang projected an illusion of infinite, existential emptiness directly into the null behemoth's nascent consciousness, briefly paralyzing it with a terror beyond its comprehension. Seizing the moment, Stoneheart, with a titanic leap, brought his axe down with the force of a falling star, cleaving a wound in its gelatinous hide that instantly began to self-repair. The Faceless, meanwhile, manifested a localized aura of absolute despair around the creature, causing its peripheral tendrils to shrivel and retract in agony. Whisperwind, in its most ethereal form, slipped into the creature's core, unleashing a shriek that resonated not in sound, but in pure, cosmic agony, momentarily disrupting its regeneration. This is not some interdimensional squabble. This is an emptying, something ancient beyond reckoning. Dreadfang hissed, his voice strained from the effort. They are the void renderers, devourers of concept, of emotion, of everything. They leave only the perfect, silent oblivion of the void, and their master draws nigh. Whisperwind added, its voice losing its playful edge, becoming a chilling echo of primordial fear. A profound realization settled among them. Even the most unyielding of their kind, those who reveled in chaos and despair, began to sense the true, horrifying scope of their adversary. This was not merely a fight for their continued existence. It was a struggle for the very concept of anything existing. If the Void Renderers succeeded, there would be no more dreams to corrupt, no more bodies to butcher, no more minds to haunt, just nothingness. Their relentless journey finally led them to the terrifying epicenter of the cataclysm, a pulsating cyclopean tear in the very fabric of the heavens, a cosmic wound from which unimaginable terror poured forth. Within this shimmering maw, a colossal, shadowy entity, vaguely humanoid but impossibly vast and radiating an aura of pure, absolute nihility, was coalescing. This was the Elder Scourge, the primordial leader of the Void Renderers, a being whose very presence was anathema to life, to fear, to every concept of being. An apocalyptic battle erupted. The quartet of terror unleashed their full, unholy might against the Elder Scourge and its inexhaustible legions. Dreadfang projected an onslaught of existential nightmares so profound they caused visible ripples across the Elder Scourge's colossal form, twisting its nebulous presence into contorted shapes of unseen agony. Stoneheart and the Faceless, moving with terrifying synergy, launched themselves at its ethereal manifestations, their attacks leaving momentary scars that sizzled and then began to heal. Whisperwind, in its most ethereal form, slipped into the creature's core, unleashing a cacophony of cosmic screams that momentarily disoriented the Elder Scourge, buying precious seconds. Yet, the Elder Scourge retaliated with horrifying ease, warping reality with casual indifference, unleashing waves of pure despair that threatened to collapse their very forms. It's not just devouring matter, it's devouring mind. It's trying to erase our very consciousness. Dreadfang screamed, his voice strained, his form flickering. "Oh, this is exquisite. This is almost too much delight," Whisperwind cackled, but a tremor of genuine desperation laced its voice. For a chilling moment, the titans of terror faltered. The combined might of humanity's greatest terrors seemed as dust against the raw, unfathomable power of the Void Renderers. Stoneheart was hurled back, a crack appearing on his obsidian form. The Faceless was momentarily paralyzed, its void-like essence flickering under a wave of absolute cosmic dread. Dreadfang was ensnared in a distorted dreamscape of his own making, his screams unheard. Whisperwind's ethereal form began to unravel, its illusions wavering under the Elder Scourge's crushing psychic weight. The Elder Scourge swelled, preparing to deliver the final, annihilating blow, a wave of pure nothingness that would erase them from existence. Just as the Elder Scourge prepared to unmake them, a new, horrifying surge of energy erupted from the depths of the villains. It was not a heroic burst of light, nor a surge of righteous power, but a deepening, an intensification of their own inherent darkness. What defines a monster? Is it the thirst for gore, the joy of suffering, or is it the profound, chilling mastery of fear itself? These creatures, the Void Renderers, devoured raw existence, matter, the very fabric of reality, but they did not comprehend the intricate, terrifying nuance of sentient horror. They did not understand fear. Dreadfang's spectral claws began to glow with a dark, pulsating energy, not just of dreams, but of pure, distilled terror. Stoneheart's eyes, twin glowing embers within his rocky head, flared with a cold, primal malice, his obsidian axe vibrating with malevolent energy. The Faceless's presence became a suffocating void of dread, drawing in all surrounding shadows, its form coalescing into an even denser, blacker mass. Whisperwind swelled to a colossal size, its mocking grin stretching impossibly wide, its form shifting into something even more cosmic and unspeakable, a true, primordial embodiment of universal fear. "You believe you can devour fear? We are fear," Dreadfang's voice echoed, shattering the oppressive silence, distorting into 1,000 horrifying whispers. "Let me show you what true fear looks like, you pathetic void spawn," Whisperwind shrieked, a sound that ripped through the very fabric of reality, causing the cosmic rift itself to tremble. This was not a battle of good versus evil. This was a brutal, desperate struggle for the very concept of horror to exist. And these four beings were its purest, most devastating conduits. The Void Renderers, in their indiscriminate hunger, had consumed the very essence of fear from countless worlds, millions of sentient beings. In doing so, they had unwittingly concentrated it within themselves, making them, in a grotesque irony,